All of your political activists stopped by my house, Stokey Carmichael. All of them came from Milton R. Henry and the Shrine of the Black Madonna, which is history
Oh, very
in
much so.
itself.
Very much so. You know what? In fact, on that, I was just Sunday at the shrine. It was their 72nd anniversary,
That's right.
and we were talking to some of the old timers, and yeah, they still remember the support that your dad gave them.
Oh, he lived that well because of Milton.
Uh,
Milton was a
so
concierge.
for
I
those
keep
who
telling
don't
you
were not
that.
familiar with the story, Milton Henry, one of Eddie's fathers, primary lawyers, along with Henry Roth Black. Milton Henry was Malcolm X's chief confidant. He's a Tuskegee Airman, Yale Law School, Yale Divinity School, by all accounts, a certified genius.
But see,
Starter of the
that's
Republic of
why
New
I'm
Africa.
amazed now.
Right.
Here's the amazement to me.
Okay.
Milton Henry. And Milton Henry always quoted Malcolm X. So it was amazing actually knowing somebody who actually knew Malcolm X when he becomes your hero.
Yeah.
And Milton would always make it plain.
Yeah, man.
And that's the great thing of the story, the people in the story. It's world class. Nobody else can boast the people that came from Muhammad Ali, the greatest in the world. Exactly what you said. He is the world's heavyweight champion. He is at Largo. He let Joe Weaver, a
Now slow it
bumbling
down, but they
clown.
don't know who Joe Weaver is, so give them the whole
I'm
story.
giving him the
Who's
name.
Joe Weaver?
Joe Weaver was in my father's crew.
Okay.
He was a photograph man who was working at the 20 grand. And he loved Eddie Jackson so much when he come in the 20 grand and put on the show. Because my father was a huge tipper. If anybody know Eddie Jackson, there's one thing about him. He was a huge tipper. And because of that, Joe Weaver said, I want to be a part of your crew. I want to be a part of your crew. So Joe Weaver was really a run man for my pop, and he was my bodyguard. And your father loved him because he spent more time at me in your house than anybody else in the crew.
That's a fact.
Anybody else in the crew. So Joe Weaver out at Largo's. Muhammad Ali, the world's heavyweight champion, is at Largo. Joe Weaver knew how much my dad loved Muhammad Ali, and he knew the kind of brownie points he would get from Eddie Jackson. Bringing Muhammad Ali to his house personally, man, all I can tell you is you would have to imagine for Muhammad Ali to leave Largo's with Joe Weaver, who I just explained to you who he was, and come to Eddie Jackson's house. That says something.
That is saying
He
something.
is the most known man in the world.
And just for
Ronald
the record,
McDonald, the president, Muhammad
your
Ali
dad
was
wasn't
more
home.
known than them.
Your dad wasn't home that night,
He wasn't home.
and my father wouldn't let him in our house.
There you go.
So we can both say your dad stood up the greatest, even though he didn't stand up. He didn't know he was coming. And Joe Weaver was such a prankster that my father didn't take him serious. That he had Muhammad Ali at our door.
But he took a picture too.
But to the next day, yeah,
He took a picture so that he'd be believed.
He did. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
If you,
he
so
made sure he
read,
got a
read,
photograph.
read. I mean,
he gave you the
in
photograph.
the book, you can see that photograph of Muhammad Ali
There
and
you
Joe
go.
Weaver. Unbelievable.
There you go.
But on our childhood, to keep it moving, it was March 16th, 19.
But add to it, Milton Henry was also Muhammad Ali's lawyer.
Yes. Yeah.
Add that to it so they understand that.
Yeah. I mean, Milton Henry is a huge figure just in
Well,
the whole
as I
American
said
civil
before,
rights movement.
My father's legal team had the biggest cases in the country at that time. They had the Patty Hearst case.
So you're talking about F. Lee Bailey, you're talking about H. Ross Black's partner.
They wrote the book of law.
Correct.
Go to the library today and look it up. F. Lee Bailey and Henry Roth Black wrote the book of law.
Okay. So,
and at that time, as I was about to say, they had the 4 biggest cases in America. Patty Hearst, the biggest madam in New York, the biggest biggest narcotics case in America at that time, which was Eddie Jackson. And they also had one more.
The Boston Strangler.
No. They had the Watergate scandal with Richard Nixon. Right. That's why anytime my pops wanted to get a message to Richard Nixon, all he had to do was tell Henry Ross back.
All right. Let's go to March 16th, 1973. Cover of the Detroit News.
Okay.
Eddie Jackson, king of dope, lives in posh fortress. How did that when the newspapers got a hold of your father, my father, and our dad's pictures are all in the paper. How'd that affect you, kind of growing up as a child?
It made my life a living hell.
Okay.
I hate Southfield schools to this day because of it, like your sister. I caught hell behind that shit. It was not a good experience for me. I was called a young doper kid, and I didn't even know what dope was.
Kids can be mean.
Very mean.
Kids can be mean.
Very mean.
So that was kind of the downside. So on one hand, you got we're living this life of luxury, but then you have to deal with this media thing, and we're kids, and the media is
It's
portraying our
vicious.
is just is
Well, look
depicting
at the
our
truth. I wound up in the newspaper.
yeah. They're telling stories about you on your
Understand this.
on your
I'm on
mini
my
bike.
mini bike. Yeah.
Correct.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, tell them.
I wind up in the newspaper. I'm riding my mini bike, and I see this white man photographing me, and I had two remote controls on me.
Yeah.
One remote control to open up the garage to come out, and the other remote control was to open up the fence. So when the white man is taking a picture, I hit the remote control, and the fence comes swinging open, and this little kid come riding out on the mini bike, going to the light, all what you said. So he photographed me the whole time I was riding. Then when I was going back into the house, he photographed me hitting the remote control to open the fence again, ride back in, hit the remote control to close the fence. And see, the media was vicious. They used to run up and look all in our backyard and shit. So he runs up all on the fence looking at where I'm going. So now I'm going in the garage and hitting the garage remote control to let the garage down. So he wrote all that shit in the paper.
Yeah. So then if you read that, I mean, it was like an 8-page expose, and they talk about. But you do. Only thing I can say, back then we were like people didn't have remote controls for everything in their house like we did. We were doing some
Well, we
Jetson.
had phones
We were
and
like
cars,
the Jetson
TV and
TV,
cars.
intercom systems.
I
People
mean,
don't
we
have
had
that
all
stuff
that.
now. Yeah,
We
it
had
was
all
kind
that.
of like the Jetsons. So I do get the media's amazement of this little black kid who's got multiple remote controls and he can open up doors, But you're right. You're a little kid just living a child's
Right.
life, and next thing you know, you dealing with
Boom.
reporters
Boom.
photographing
You
you.
go to school and people say that's whispering.
Yeah.
That's him. That's him. He was in the paper. His dad,
Yes,
the dope guy.
yeah.
And that ain't good.
No.
When you're a kid and niggas has, whispering behind your back and you know what they say, then a lot of them didn't whisper. White kids would come right to your face. You dope dealer, get out of here.
And now that was coming from their parents because their
We
kids also.
understand that now, but in that day,
Yeah.
it's vicious.
Yeah.
And you as a kid, everything coming at you. Then, to cap it off, motherfucker come to school and try to kidnap me.
You want to unpack that story real quick?
I'm in school. I'm in Mrs. Stein class, which was a Jewish lady. I love her to this day, Mrs. Stein. And I hear the principal, Mr. Callahan, come over to PA and tell her to hold me in class. Don't send me to the office and don't let nobody have me. He's been called the police now because you got 4 people at his office, 1 woman with 3 men, told the principal, Mr. Callahan, that my mother had sent them to the school, which was Magnolia, to pick me up. Mr. Callahan called the police and went on the PA and told Mrs. Stein, keep me in the class, don't release me to nobody, and he had called the police. Before the police could get there, and I did a video on this in my channel to show you where the school was and the path that they took to get out of there. They was parked at the church, which was right across from the school. They gonna grab me out of school. The car was parked at the church, and when you pull out the church, you go straight to the freeway. It was a beautiful plan.
Okay.
And Mr. Callahan stepped in and messed it up. Because one thing I say, white folks don't trust black folks.
So
I'm just gonna give it to you real. The minute 4 black folks coming in there, 3 black men, they should have been smarter just to send 1 black woman in there by herself. They might have got away with it. But to have 1 woman and 3 black men come with her wearing Borsalinis and shit, you scared Mr. Callahan to death.
So
They come in there wearing Borsalinis, high heels, and asking for me.
Wow. So what? They called your mom then? How they?
Well, they called the police first.
They called the police.
Then they called my mother. The police got there immediately, and like I told you, they got the fuck hat. The police couldn't even catch them. They got out. They got away before the police could even get there. And we know Southfield police at that time response time was better about 2 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
2 minutes.
Yeah, yeah.
And they beat that. So the minute Mr. Callahan went on the mic and told Mrs. Stein to keep me in the classroom, they must have heard that and said, hey, we got to go. He ain't calling Eddie to come to the office. He telling her to keep him there because he calling the police.
Okay.
73. The Detroit Free Press's front page proclaims dope kingpins get away with it. They had names like Jesse James, Pretty Ricky, the Black Greek, and Mr. Clean. 2 of the 12 men listed as Detroit's biggest heroin dealers were next-door neighbors, and in reality, they were the 2 largest heroin dealers in Detroit, dwarfing the other men on the list. Eddie the Fat Man Jackson, charismatic son of a pool hall owner, and his chief lieutenant, Courtney the Field Marshal Brown, a former city bus driver, had built an empire on a par with men like Nicky Barnes and Frank Lucas of New York. But theirs was a very different and in many ways more sophisticated operation than Barnes and Lucas's, based on family ties and finesse more than murder and mayhem. They truly were the Motown Mafia, and the saga of Eddie Jackson, Courtney Brown, and their families stretched from the 1960s and into the present day. Starting in 1969, Eddie Jackson had built a tight inner circle of lieutenants like Charles Rudolph, Russell Clayton, Ronald 5-0 Garrett, Black Butch, and his right-hand man, Courtney Brown. All of them had grown up together in Detroit's old Black Bottom and Paradise Valley neighborhoods, forming an unbreakable foundation for their soon-to-come heroin empire.
In a city built on hustle, one man dared to dance with the devil. He was smooth, slick, and dangerous. This ain't no bedtime story. This is blood, bricks, and backstabs. This summer, loyalty is dead, and the streets are talking. The Devil is a Lie, a Big Boss Filmworks original. Narrated by the streets, told by the game, inspired by the truth.